All right, man, take the top. Ah, man, I had to pop in and do a quick episode. Um, Rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne. Rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo, and rest in peace to Hulk Hogan, man. So I'm gonna talk about Hulk Hogan today, man, because although Hulk Hogan made some mistakes in his life, the overall, uh, the overall man can't be ignored and dismissed because of some mistakes that he made. Let's just say that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna do that. Nah. We not gonna do that. So before we get into that, I gotta get the legendary spill. This is Torture Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. If you're new here, let me work for your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know to find the ones that just don't harass them. I throw some on merch, but I do have content absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, link is right on the screen. Cash App. Right here, Cash App, Cash App, Cash App. No more PayPal. They call me the Hidden Gem. 1,300 subscribers, over 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,000. And yes, I am the King of the North. Let me know what kingdom you are from. Go subscribe to Torture Talk after hours as well. So look, we're gonna get to this, man. I feel much better today. I'm just relaxing, taking it easy. But let's get to it, man. All right, man. So today's episode, we're gonna talk about Hogan. You see, I got the yellow on. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about everything from him, his movie roles, him as a family man, him as the iconic Hulkamania, him as Hollywood Hogan, him as NWO. Yeah, it's a bunch of things we're gonna talk about. So Terry Hogan, Hulk Hogan, started out as a heel. He was a bad guy in the beginning of his career, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And he was in another wrestling organization. Him and Vince McMahon uh, had a little plan to take over. I'm just gonna give y'all a synopsis. I'm not gonna tell y'all the exact history of this because it's a lot. But him and Vince McMahon basically they took over the they went from wrestling to wrestling entertainment. Hulk Hogan was the poster child for wrestling entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And him and Vince McMahon went on this basically campaign after Vince McMahon fathered it, warned them that there are other different entities all over the United States that you don't really want to get involved with, but Vince did it anyway. Him and Hogan, they did their thing, right? Boom. So Hulk Hogan was one of those guys who was a model, a person who everybody wanted to be like in wrestling at one point. He had it all. He had the looks, he had the physique, he had the charisma. He was charismatic, obviously. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna get into the whole allegations and all this stuff. We're just gonna talk about certain little things he did, and then we're gonna talk about certain things or whatever. But so he did his thing for a long time. I think a lot of people noticed. In my opinion, Hulk Hogan was the one who actually started. Uh, I know there was people who had their little identities, but his identity, in my opinion, was the one that actually broke the ceiling. Now I know people saying that there was the Junkyard Dog and there was other people who had their movements as well. Not to say they didn't, but I think Hulk Hogan take this out my ear. I think Hulk Hogan, his his movement sparked the whole his movement sparked the movement. Let's just put it like that. He changed wrestling forever. Certain things he did, certain things he said. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to get into the slogans and everything that he did. But let's start with this. So this is one of the very first, I believe this is his very first championship match where Iron Sheik beat Bob Backlund. And Hulk Hogan challenged Iron Sheik. Iron Sheik put him in the camel clutch. Hulk Hogan stood up, I believe, and the rest was history. You know what I'm saying? He got up out of the camel clutch. And what's the name now? You look at Iron Sheik's face. He looks comfortable, man. He's looking like, yeah, this it's a wrap for this guy. It's a wrap for this guy. Yeah, he look at Hogan's face. He like, yeah, I don't know what y'all thought putting him in the ring with me, but yeah, look at this. I got him Hogan like he in agony. He like agony. Agony. He's screaming agony. He's screaming agony. You can see his chest split apart. Look at his chest. His chest split like this. It's split. His chest. Nigga chest like a butt. Shit split like an ass. Damn. Got that nigga the camel clutch. Yo, did anybody ever put you on the camel clutch? I'm telling you, bro. Have you ever been put in the camel clutch? Yeah. I got put in that joint one time, and it was lights out. I seen green and neon blue stars. Like, for real. Dude put me in the camel clutch. I was to see like green and blue stars. Oh man, it was crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. But yeah, so I think this is the first ever championship that he actually won. Was this? I believe this was a Saturday Night Main Event. I'm not sure exactly what this was, but he beat Iron Sheik for the title to become the champion. Yeah, so it was Saturday Night Main Event. Yeah, Hulk Hogan versus Iron Sheik. Now the Iron Sheik was very popular because Iron Sheik, he was one of the big. He actually in the top 5 greatest heels of all time with the hook boots. I don't know if y'all seen that. He had the hook boots and Iron Sheik. I think Iron Sheik was managed by Mr. Fuji. I'm not sure who he was managed by at the time. I can't remember, but I think it was Mr. Fuji. And if it was Mr. Fuji, that's kind of weird to have the Iron Sheik managed by Mr. Fuji. But I don't know. If it was Mr. Fuji, whatever. But anyway, Hulk Hogan, he beat the Iron Sheik for the title. And here we go. I think that's when he stood up. And he was in what's the name? He was, doing the Hulkamaniac joint or whatever. And that's how he got up out of that joint. So, one of the biggest matches of all time. A lot of y'all probably don't know this. Maybe y'all too young for this. Who knows? But Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Now, I remember Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant was friends. And the way it went down was Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant felt like Hogan was getting too much shine or whatever. And he snatched Hogan's chain off his neck. Hogan was heartbroken and all this stuff. And then next thing you know, they're fighting at WrestleMania. This is when Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant. I don't think anybody at the time ever slammed Andre the Giant. I don't think that ever happened. And Andre the Giant, he was undefeated for about 15, 16 years. And I think that Hulk Hogan was the guy who beat him. And Andre didn't fight as much. But Andre was definitely the 8th wonder of the world. Hulk Hogan was taking on. That's what they was promoting him as, the 8th wonder of the world. Hulk Hogan beat Andre the Giant and moved on from there. So the thing is, a lot of people have a disdain for Hogan because a lot of people called him racist. He said a lot of things that were racial or they didn't agree with. You know what I'm saying? There were some things that he said that I would say that they have a point. But then there's some things that he said I think people were reaching. And I'm not even going to get into all that. I'm just going to say, I believe he apologized for whoever he said he offended. And that was that. I know people got mad at him about Kamala Harris. I think he said something about Kamala Harris. I think he said she was stupid or something like that. Candidates and people that were saying they call people stupid all the time. I think that, and I'll be honest, I am all for us as black people, but sometimes I do believe that we be being a little bit too sensitive when it comes to politics. It's the same thing as boxing. It's the same thing as fighting. Politicians gonna talk their shit all the time. It doesn't matter. People gonna call people dumb. I literally seen Democrats call people who voted for Trump weirdos and stupid and a basket of deplorables. I've seen Hillary Clinton call black people super predators, all types of stuff. So when black people, y'all need to calm down a little bit when y'all talking about people talking about politicians, because they'll talk about you too. You know what I'm saying? Your own party will call you a super predator, like for real. So, and that's all I'm gonna speak on that. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I just wanted to put that out there. He did have some dark sides, some dark things that happened in his past, but and a lot of wrestlers said that he lied a lot in a lot of the interviews that he was on with. I think the one interview he was on with Joe Rogan, people were saying he was lying about some of the stuff that didn't happen. He didn't know, and he was lying. Then I seen another story where the people saying that he was telling the truth, and people, he was just a polarizing figure. Let's just say that. Okay, so now this is when he fought the Ultimate Warrior, Intercontinental Champion versus Heavyweight Champion, and I believe this is when the Ultimate Warrior beat Hulk Hogan. Now, when I was younger, I was a fan of both of these guys, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This match actually gave me trauma throughout the rest of my life when it comes to sports. And the reason why I say that is because now, whenever I see two fighters that I like a lot, I don't want to see the fight because I'm afraid of who's going to win, even though I like both of the fighters. I think there's a trauma that I got from this match. And I know people probably saying, well, man, it's wrestling, it's fake. But see, you got to understand, when you young, you don't really know that. You young, you don't know. You think that these people were like superheroes. Like Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior were like superheroes. Like people don't like live action superheroes. Ultimate Warrior used to run to the ring, top speed, and the whole match he is on 100. Boo, 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 boo. 1, 2, 3. Yo, and let's be clear here. Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior had the best promos ever. When it comes down to it, nobody did better promos than them. Not even to this day. Not even to this day. The Warriors versus the Maniacs. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. You don't understand. This guy praying to when the heavens open up and my warriors come down. And all this goofy stuff, bro. We was infatuated with this. Y'all don't get it. Because y'all wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing, too. Hogan had so many slogans. He had so many things. 24-inch pythons. Saying your prayers. Eating your vitamins. Bro. Hey, Hogan raised a generation, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Y'all can say whatever y'all want. He actually did raise a generation. He did. He was an iconic staple, especially in the black community. People can say whatever they want. I don't care. It's the truth. He was. You watch wrestling, anytime black people watch wrestling, I can tell you right now, if you ask a black person who's the greatest wrestler of all time, they're gonna say Hulk Hogan. From at least from my era, they will. You know what I'm saying? Some people gonna say John Cena, but obviously it's Hulk Hogan. Like, come on, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, then The Rock, or it would be The Rock, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, or those three, then Stone Cold. It could go either way. Undertaker. You know what I'm saying? But Hulk Hogan was wrestling. He gave the he Hulk Hogan impact on wrestling was the biggest impact ever. If there was no Hulk Hogan, I'm sorry, wrestling would have never been as big as it was. He headlined so many WrestleManias. I believe I believe Hulk Hogan held the belt for like 5 years or something like that, and then he lost, and he came back and he won it, and then he lost to Yokozuna, I believe. I'm not sure, but I don't think Hulk Hogan was ever an Intercontinental Champion. I'm not sure about that, and I don't think he was ever a tag. I think he was a tag champion, but I don't think he was ever an Intercontinental Champion. I just don't think that. But I could be wrong. Then we go to the movies. So you have he was in Rocky. I believe he was in No Holds Barred. That was the name of the movie that Hogan was. Another movie Hogan was in. Hogan was a movie star. He was a big movie star. People liked Hogan. He also had a TV show. Did a couple of other things too. And I believe he had a lawsuit. He won all this money or something like that, right? Something like that. Something happened. I'm not sure about that. I would have to uh, watch a documentary about that or something. But yeah, it was another big moment in wrestling history. Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan actually had some legal issues one time, and Hogan was called to testify against Vince, and everybody thought that Hogan was going to basically snitch on Vince, and he didn't. He didn't do it, and everybody was shocked. You know what I'm saying? He basically didn't do it. Now they had some issues, and I believe that Vince McMahon created a monster, and I believe that Vince McMahon understood that nobody's bigger than the program. But Hogan felt like he was bigger than wrestling, and at one point he was. But see, the thing about Vince McMahon is Vince McMahon will go down fighting before he ever let anybody do anything to him. You know what I'm saying? And I know people saying, well, he did sell his company, blah, 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 but this is when he's an old man. Vince is in his, I believe, 80s. He's not the same guy he was back in the day. He was a savage back in the day. You couldn't get none of that off on him when he was younger. You couldn't. He was too smart. He was too thorough. But once you get old, man, you ain't got time for all that. You try to just live the rest of your life out. He sold his company and moved on. And people started to hate Vince, but this is not a Vince thing. This is about Hogan. So him and Hogan had a little back and forth, and I believe they had a wrestling match. I believe Hogan left the WWF or WWE at the time, WWF at the time, and he moved on. He goes to WCW. This was another milestone moment in wrestling history, right here, the NWO. One of the founders, one of the creators of the NWO, Hulk Hogan. And if he was the guy that made it bigger than what it was, because when he came out and he did the leg drop, I believe on Randy Savage, I believe it was I think it was Halloween Havoc or Bash at the Beach, one of them. He did the leg drop, and then he pinned, and then they pinned or whatever, and then they threw all the stuff, and then he said he was the one that announced the New World Order at the time. You know what I'm saying? So Hogan had two milestone moments in his career that I think a lot of people don't pay attention to. Now, again, I'm gonna say this for all the slow people in the back. I'm talking about his wrestling career. That's it. whatever he did on his personal time, it is what it is. But we're talking about his wrestling career. Hogan's wrestling career, he had two milestone moments. One, when he beat Andre the Giant, or he beat Iron Sheik. That's actually three. But we would just say when he beat, because I remember when he beat Iron Sheik and became the champion, everybody was celebrating. Everybody was celebrating because he did it for Bob Backlund. Then when he became when he beat Andre the Giant, it's like Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy, Andre the Giant. Hogan was knocking down all the big men. And next thing you know, he goes years later, comes back, a whole new wrestler. The greatest heel of all time. The greatest heel of all time. NWO Hulk Hogan. Hollywood Hogan. The gray and black, or the blonde and black beard. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta understand, it was a little bit different for most of us back then when we were watching wrestling. I was obsessed with wrestling. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So you had Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Hogan. You know what I'm saying? And these guys right here, within 1 year or two, they changed the face of wrestling. Because everybody only wanted to see the NWO. Nobody wanted to see nobody else. And then when Eric Bischoff jumped into it, which I think he shouldn't have did. I think that was corny. Because after Scott Hall, or I think it was Kevin Nash, power bombed them through the floor. I'm like, why would they make him the NWO? That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like he threw him off a cliff. So what was that? But ultimately, Hulk Hogan was a man. I actually met Hogan once. I didn't want to tell nobody yet until the end to the end. I actually met him once at a meet and greet. You know, he stood up. He was a big man. I was a young boy though at the time. He was a big man. You know what I'm saying? I actually met him. I met The Rock. I met Stone Cold. I met a lot of wrestlers. Just put it to you like that. And he was a very big man. But you know the crazy thing is, Vince McMahon was a little bit bigger than him. At least in my opinion, he was. But rest in peace to Hulk Hogan, man. I just wanted to put that out there. I know there's some things I probably missed that he did. He had toys. He had cartoons. Hulk Hogan rock and roll wrestling. He had cartoons. He had toys. It was so many things that Hogan did. So many things he did that I think that I just missed. You know what I'm saying? But I had to speak on him because I'll be honest with y'all, that man, when I lived at, he was a iconic vocal point in our livelihood at the time. Hulk Hogan was a vital focal point in our hood. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was entertainment or not, that's what it was. But, you know? Yeah, so I just want to jump in and throw that episode out there because I felt like it was my duty. I know my brother called me and asked me was I gonna do an episode about Hulk Hogan. He was a big Hulk Hogan fan. He was actually put me up on wrestling when I was younger. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do it, and I did it. So rest in peace to that man. Rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. Rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne. Rest in peace to everybody that passed away. Yeah, man. Thanks for all the memories. See y'all on the next one. Peace. Bye. Ooh. I ain't going to Torture Talk after hours. You see that? That's crazy. Computer just does what it wants. I'm glad I ain't have no naked picture up there.